I made my debut playing the second Mendelssohn Piano Concerto with the Cincinnati Symphony when I was 10, and it was a natural outgrowth of what I was doing and what I was studying, and I had the most marvelous time. My parents wanted to continue my music education, and the first violinist of the LaSalle Quartet, Walter Levine, was about to take up residence in Cincinnati. And at first, when my parents called him, he said, there is not a 10-year-old I would be interested in teaching, but my parents persuaded him to come to dinner. We hit it off very well, and he did, in fact, teach me music theory, harmony, repertoire, a kind of music education apart from the piano. He really opened the whole depth and breadth of the repertoire to me. Our relationship goes on to this day. When I was 13, I left home in the summer at the invitation of Rudolf Serkin, who agreed to take me at the Marlborough Festival. They did Così fan tutte that summer. No one was ever bitten by the opera bug as deeply as I was, and as quickly. On the way home from Marlborough on the train, I had a big discussion with my father, and I was ready to quit the piano and study conducting right away. And he pointed out to me that there might come a time when I would wish to be able to just play my musical intentions on the piano, especially working with singers and other musicians. And I was skeptical, but he persuaded me, and I'm always grateful that he did.
I hope you agree with me in that conducting isn't just this, you know?
Years later, I did an apprenticeship with George Zell, the great conductor and music director of the Cleveland Orchestra.
Every piece of music should start inside the player before he plays the first note. Here's a one-man orchestra, which of course makes things a little less complicated. Out of long experience, I'll tell you, the shorter your downbeat will be, the more precise the attack. Your upbeat can be a little bigger than the downbeat. If you do one, about an inch. If your cheeks start to tremble the moment you do this, then it is incisive enough. Very good.
Good morning, everybody. On the schedule, am I starting with Beethoven? Good, that's what I wanted to start. We all have to have the same thought in our head when we start this piece. This piece was just written. The ink was wet yesterday. Right? The minute we stand back here from it in any way, it's gone. Dare yourself to play the first three notes in the speed and drive and force and power and excitement that you really think they should have. And strings don't make da-da-da-da, wah, but di-di-da-dum, bum, ba. So there's a violence and excitement, a togetherness, a focus that is absolutely not beaten in any other piece written before or after. And burn the E flat as best you can. And one, di-di-di-da, hold it, burn it, yes. Rip off, one, di-di-di-da, yes. Rip off, di-di-di-da, di-di-di-da, love it. Don't be late starting, di-di-di-da, harder, harder, dum, dum, burn it out, rip it off, one, di-di-di-da. Don't slow down, please. The two characteristics that define the Met Orchestra differently from many orchestras have to do with dramatic intensity and lyricism. all of which are the characteristics of singers. You see, I don't want them to approach an instrument like an abstract machine. I want them to approach an instrument, as all the great composers said, like a voice.
Watch the diminuendo, do what it says, do exactly what it says. Suddenly, do it without me. Just do it because you have to do it.
Tell us about how you rehearse. You tend to talk a lot in metaphors and to speak a lot. Other conductors
I do talk a lot.
Talk less.
And I must say, I
there's
have to
anything
give
wrong
them
with it.
credit. They hate it.
They do.
Yes, they do.
But it seems to
Even the
work.
ones who love me the most hate it.
Yeah.
I find it necessary, and that's why I do it. Let's say you watch the conductor, and all of a sudden he goes, do you really believe 100 musicians play a subito piano because he goes? The very idea seems ludicrous. They're all going to look at just the right moment, and he's going to make the gesture at just the same place. I find what makes it work is they have to know what I'm doing. They have to know why I'm doing it. They have to be a full participant. What good does it do if I look at 32 violins and I don't have what I want, and I make some kind of gesture? That doesn't make them know what I want. You know why? Because what I want in that moment is the following. I want a big diminuendo that gets as soft as you can, but I want it now. I don't want to slow the tempo down to get it. Shh, 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 shh. What is that? You understand what I mean? Who's responding to that? I'm a teacher conductor.
Suona labbro il mio nome.
Mio's where it changes.
Suona il mio labbro il mio nome.
No, yes, that's exactly right. Do it once more so you get used to it.
Suona ogni.
Yes.
Suona ogni labbro il mio nome.
That's exactly right. Do it once more, just so it stays there. Ba-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum, ba-da-dum.
Suona ogni labbro il mio nome.
That's correct.
Oh Maria, forse in breve potrai dirmi tuo sposo.
Da-da-dum.
Al convento chi fia.
Yes. These things, by the way, that look a little bit quadrato, they add better tension. They're useful.
It has never stopped. We have an orchestra rehearsal, and after that orchestra rehearsal, I go always to work with Jimmy.
Tutto disposi, esso ti chieggo parte ai perigli e alla costanza. Sia
in vita ed in morte.
sia.
And we work on some things that he has seen. Placido, you can do better. In 1975, I decided to sing Othello being 34. Jimmy said Placido, it's too early for him to sing Othello. He won't sing any more the lyrical operas, you know, and it was a lot of concern.
Just the very idea of a guy that young with so many romantic parts still to be done, I had a sort of knee-jerk reaction against Othello too soon. I said, Placi, I'm sorry, I'm not going to aid and abet you hurting yourself to sing that role. And he said, if you feel that way, I understand. Don't worry. 48 hours later, I learned that he already had signed agreements to sing the part in 3 other European opera houses.